I'm Renae James, and I have been with Hometown Values for about 10 plus years. And there's a lot of things I've learned and a lot of things I get excited about. And one of them, the part that I really enjoy about Hometown Values is that out there building relationships. And there's a lot of neat people to meet in the community, and there's a lot of neat things that Hometown Values can do for those folks in the community. And so I'm going to share some things that I've learned, and I want to open it up at the end because I know I've got some other amazing people to share some stories that they've learned. I know Susan's also taken advantage of a lot of these things, and I'm sure some of our new folks have done that as well. So let's just start off with traditional networking. One way to get your name out there and build your business in the community is the traditional networking. You've got the LaTip groups, the B&I groups, there's E-Women, there's, like ours was a LaTip group, we broke off, we're now Marysville Business Connections. I think I've heard there's other groups, Susan's group did their own thing, they've got a group up with Skagit. Then traditional networking groups where you sit there, the whole idea is to come in and pass business leads and grow each other's business. And so those are great options. I mean, I did LaTip for probably 8 years, and it was successful and it works for us. It's kind of a little pricey to get started, but it could definitely pay off. So those are things to look into. I know that those LaTip and BNIs are very much around the United States. There's a lot of little independent networking groups that you can look into, or you can even start one of your own. So then there's the Chamber of Commerce. So at one point, I think we belonged to 4. We're down to 2 now, because Mark and I used to have at least 7 different cities that we mailed to. But they have monthly meetings, and so you can go either a breakfast or a lunch. And check that out. It's usually about a 2-hour, 1.5 to 2 hours of your day for the month. And that's just a nice way to get your face out there in front of the community and other business owners. They have opportunities for showboat tables, so you would have a table set up and you would be able to display your items. Sometimes it's a cost, sometimes as a new member you get that opportunity. Take advantage of it. Any chance you get to get your face out there in the community, especially in the business world, is a benefit and a boost to you. There is always an opportunity for door prizes. Mic time, you give a door prize, you get some mic time. So we get a little extra trade sometimes. Then you can use that and say, hey, I'm going to got this coffee card for $25, and then you get a minute mic time in front of the whole room. And there are some networking groups or Chamber of Commerce groups that are so large, I mean, it could be a couple hundred people that you're talking to. And in my community, Marysville's about 100 that attend, and then we got the smaller Arlington that's about 50 or 60. But again, if you do it consistently, you're up there, they just get to know your face. There's after hours events. Those are really nice to go to. They will sometimes have those monthly, quarterly, it all depends on your Chamber of Commerce. Take advantage of those. That'll happen, like I said, it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it's just for a new business to say, hey, I'm here, and you get a chance to get up and meet them. Again, it's very casual. You get a chance to schmooze with some fellow business owners. Really nice. People who are supporting new members. And it's funny, I have gotten some great clients, some of those folks that are new to the community. Then you go to their after hours, or they come to the Chamber of Commerce for the first time and you introduce yourself. They've been some long-standing good customers because they appreciated that you were there to say hello and greet them. And one of the excuses I get to be able to be right up front meeting and greeting is I have joined ambassadors, or they call it the emissary team. Your job is to meet and greet. You stand by the door. You've got a name badge, which I have a few name badges. I see some of the things. I always have my name badges with me. There's a couple different chambers and organizations I belong to. But it kind of gives you permission to be right there, introducing yourself, being the go-to person, say, oh, and I want to introduce you to, let me introduce you to, Mark over here. Because they're new. They haven't been to a business meeting before, and they're feeling a little uncertain of where to sit and what should I do. There's a breakfast table over there, and any questions, let me know. You get to make them feel warm and comfortable. And it's a great place to be, and it's really, I have built a lot of really good friendships and relationships just through that opportunity. You want to use your trade. We don't promote that you get a lot of it, but it's going to happen. So use your trade to promote Hometown Values, as well as give back to the community, which, again, is getting your face out in the community and your name. So there's always organizations looking for donations. You don't necessarily have the cash to give, but like I said, you might have a little stash of gift certificates or something that you can give. So there's auctions. They'll be looking for items for auctions. There's just different fundraisers opportunities that will pop up. You can give gift certificates. You can give items that you may have. Always putting it under Hometown Values, raffles, just all those things that they're looking for, or you can actually seek them out. Sometimes you get a blanket letter, hey, we're having this event, come and join us, and you'll see that they've got raffle items or door prizes or things like that, and say, hey, I've got something to donate, is that okay? Who's going to say no? So take that opportunity. Some, gift certificates for food items. I mean, restaurants are great. Coffee cards, services. If you want to give off a nice auction item, maybe you've got a car detailing, put that in the auction, and it's a tax write-off too because you're donating. Outings. A lot of times, like we have Lights of Christmas. It's a very big to-do up here in our area in Marysville, and I guess around the Puget Sound. We get a lot of trade with that. We give those gift certificates out as gifts to our clients. We give them out as raffle prizes. We give them we just use them out for auction items, and they're very coveted. But we have Silver Tips tickets too. So those are things we like to use to just promote ourselves and to say thank you to the community and to give to these other organizations that are out there trying to do a good thing in the community. One of the things I've done, like we have a cake shop, and when she opened, I did some trade/cash, and so Domestic Violence Services always has a dessert dash, and so they always ask, for donations for the desserts, and so I always donate a dessert from, the cake. And which is really nice is because I go to the cake place and they have now used their services. I have several people after I've done things like that have said, wow, they make such great desserts, and then they go and shop there. So you've just promoted their businesses and all these things. Whenever you give gift certificates and any of those things, you're promoting your clients. So it's a win-win. Let's use your magazine to promote goodwill. So we have a calendar for events. Most of us, some are consistent, some are a little inconsistent, but the calendar of events is a really great way to reach the community and partner with local organizations within the community that want to get the word out of what's happening. So you look like a good guy when you're promoting their event. So sometimes I don't necessarily have room. We only have a 16 page, and we bump to 20, we'll be getting that calendar back. If I don't have a calendar and I've kind of filled it up with cash clients, I'll take my header space and I'll start promoting what's going on in the community. So here's some Christmas events. So I'll use that opportunity.
Has that ever hurt you to not have an events calendar?
No. The only one who complains the most is Jim. But I do know that our clients do appreciate it, but I do try to put it in there.
I found out that the shelf life expands with an events calendar.
That's a good point.
I get calls on it, and there's half a dozen plus businesses that the calendar of events is a big deal.
We have personally never run across that. But what you say is probably true on the shelf life, so that I'm sure helps.
I probably go overboard with it.
Well, it is, and it is our goal to get back to that because it is part of hometown values. What's going on in our hometown, so we want to do that. Also, you can use your headers to congratulate. Here is congratulations on making it to the state championship 2 years in a row. Grace Academy. Grace Academy runs with us all the time in multiple magazines. So they did something wonderful. We just gave a compliment header to say, hey, everybody, look what they've done. We want to make sure we recognize what they're doing, so it's a good opportunity to recognize them. And then I have nonprofit groups. If I have ever an extra header space, Camino Animal Shelter Association, I've done for Domestic Violence Services. This one is a local nonprofit organization doing Arlington Recycle Warehouse for mattress recycling, and it's all a nonprofit organization. So, you look for things in the community that you can do. I know they were really appreciative with Domestic Violence Services because the phone number and all the information was there, and for those women who maybe might not have access to that information, it would come right to their mail in a very sneaky way, so they were really actually very excited. Yes?
And just a reminder, if it's a 501c3, you can write it off.
So there are perks, definitely, thank you. You want to make sure that you get your magazines out in some key locations, so obviously it's a direct mail piece. But if you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you can put your magazines in there, and half the time it doesn't matter because it's a visitor's information center a lot of times. Get your magazines out there. Those are coveted. I get calls from the Chamber of Commerce, we're out of your magazines and we've got people asking. Make another trip out there. So I usually leave them a nice stack in the multiple of all my cities. We've got some key locations that, like dance studios, Rising Star Gymnastics, those where a lot of moms hang out or sit and waiting for their kids. The library has at times let me put things out there. I mean, you have only to ask. There are many places that will allow you to put their magazines out, in coffee shops and things like that. You want to just be sensitive to the fact that if they're one of your advertisers and you have magazines out, you want to kind of educate them, well, this could be really bad. They walk in, they're eating their dinner, they grab your magazine on the way in, oh, look, they have a coupon. Oh, well, now I'm going to use my coupon. That's not the idea. The idea is to bring them back in. So you just want to kind of be sensitive to that. If it's one of your advertisers, you want to kind of just educate them. And some of them are fine. That's fine. They don't have any problem with it. Let's see. Oh, and we also have a rack distribution that we do pay for because we got a couple of key grocery stores. So we opt that way. It's a little tricky sometimes finding outdoor places to put your stands and things that we do have. So those we have a Fred Meyer's and an Albertsons, and they fly out of there very quickly.
Wow.
I don't put a whole bunch at one time because I know that there are people who will take several at a time. So I kind of space it out. And I have this one little lady who always calls me, so when's the next Marysville going to come out? She's literally waiting for me to, what time will you be at Albertsons? Waiting right there to grab those magazines. So we have a loyal following. Let's see. And then you also want to take advantage of participating in vendor and community events. I mean, they will have business showcases, and if you get an opportunity to participate in that, do it. And if you can't, if your dentist is going, say to them, would you like some Hometown Values magazines? And they'll say yes, because they can open it up to their page, and here's their ad. So, take advantage of that opportunity as well. We have signage opportunities. I know here up in the North Snohomish area, we have a deal with Xfinity, which was Comcast Arena. We have multiple signs in there now that as a group we have purchased through our advertising. And so when people go in there for their big events, they're going to see Hometown Values. They're going to see, go here to get your coupons. And it's just great, continuously keeping your name in the community. I think, Jim, you've taken advantage of Boys and Girls Club, having some signage opportunities. So look for those opportunities as well. And then, of course, I think a lot of you have seen the business card. Use your business card. I've got my photo on here, so when I jokingly say, in case you forget what I look like, here's my card. But, just have fun with those as well. And on the back, it does have our identity of the actual magazines. That helps everybody identify, again, very quickly, Hometown Values. So, how can you personally build those one-on-one relationships in your community? Well, take a few minutes to talk with your customers. Mark and I have found, and I'm sure you have too, in the beginning you have time, in the beginning of your sales cycle. So you walk in leisurely and you'll say, hey Greg, how's it going? How's your day going? If it's a client you've had before, maybe it's a new one, you get a chance you can see they're a little slow, so you can have a little chance to talk. You can read their body language if they want to engage or not, but take that time. If you wait till the end of your sales cycle to start trying to have this communication, first of all, you're not going to have time. They're going to sense that you're rushed, and you're trying to rush through and get this deadline taken care of. Yes?
Do you do any attempts or programs to engage with the consumer at the end of the loop? So rather than the merchants who are marketing with us, is there any programs or attempts that you do in your community to engage directly with the end users of the coupons?
Well, a lot of times, if you're doing events, you're having a lot of consumers as well. So you get a chance to get some feedback and things of that nature.
Face-to-face interacting.
Absolutely. It's great when I'm standing there next to my client and someone walks in with your coupon. I'd like to get my buy one, get one free now. I love that. And usually a lot of my times is my person will say, they'll introduce, oh, and by the way, this is Renae. She does that magazine. So I get a chance to talk with them a little bit.
So, and I guess that sounds close to what I'm talking about. There's a group that was recently started kind of near me, and I'm sure they're everywhere. I just found out about this, but it's called the Real Charitable Housewives, and it's like a chain of these groups. And anyway, I know about it because a gal I went to high school with is like the local chapter president.
Okay.
And I just had this thought process about that's my demographic. That's who we're trying to sell our coupons to, or at least that's a chunk of it. And so a way to kind of connect and get feedback and engage with those people might be useful for the merchants as well as us. And so I guess that's just what I'm thinking about is there any programs or I think there's a ton of value in that face-to-face stuff you're talking about, but are there any other ways that you know of to hear back from our end users in an organized fashion, if that makes sense? I personally know of an organized fashion. I mean, obviously
when I sit in my networking groups, my Chamber of Commerce, a lot of them will use our product.
And they're users too,
And
sure.
they're users too, and I love it when somebody gets up there and totes me. It's so much better when someone's singing your praises than you singing your own.
Totally.
So it's nice when people give you kudos, and in my networking group, we do that as well. So, but we have had a few phone calls. Some are good and some are not so good. Some you just gotta shake your head at and
Sure.
think, okay, I appreciate your call, thank you very much, and that's all you can do, nothing you can fix. It's just their personal preference. Another thing you can do is be a connector of the businesses. When you're out there and you're seeing, somebody who works at a coffee stand and they have a need for something else, like, boy, I need the stand painted. Well, you know what? I've got this other business owner that does painting. Be a connector, and they really appreciate when you can start giving referrals, between your clients, and that's wonderful. Another one is just being a connector for business and clients. So if my neighbor's telling me they need something, first thing I do is I pull up my magazine. Oh, well, look, here you go, and they even have a coupon.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure you're always toting your own clients. Just let people know what they got going on. I've used my Facebook to do that. I go on Facebook, someone says, does anybody know a good mechanic? Oh, well, have I got one for you? And I'll give them, here they are, and here's their name and number, or you can go to Hometown Values and find their coupon. And it's funny when I see other people that I don't even know, somebody will ask for something, and they'll go, oh, Hometown Values has a coupon for that. They just did that for defensive driving the other day. Oh yeah, Hometown Values has one. I just saw that, I didn't have to say anything, it was already up there. So, you want to be a resource for the new businesses. And so, I've made a lot of connections. When I go in and you're a new business owner, and I kind of talk to you about what are you doing with your marketing and your advertising, and usually they're very friendly and want to just kind of share what they've been through and where they're going, and then you can ask them things like, well, have you joined a Chamber of Commerce? Because some of them, they can't join a networking group because it's a one-woman show kind of a thing or whatever it is. But I'll say, have you taken advantage of the ribbon cutting that they offer here in Marysville? What? They do what? I said, yeah, the mayor will come on out. We can get the local papers to come on out, do some photos with you, and your new business will be highlighted for free in the local paper, and you'll have the mayor here too. And they're like, never heard of it. So it's so nice to be a resource for them. Mm-hmm. And we just had like 4 new businesses, and they're all excited, so I was able to set them up with the right people, and so we have them.
Do they ultimately buy ads from you?
A lot of times they do. They may not initially, because startup costs or something is just overwhelmed, or they're not staffed. We have a great little Thai place that.
But you're a hero because you kind of.
Well, because I'm telling them there's opportunities, and I'm not. You don't have to just buy Hometown Values to advertise. There's other opportunities.
You bet.
And so, just kind of identifying some of the things that they can do in their local community to promote their business as well. Let's see. Oh, and I definitely, being that we live in Marysville, and that's one of our main areas, and then we got North Snohomish County, we frequent those establishments. I mean, if I have a lunch meeting, I'm going to go and suggest we meet at so-and-so's, one of my clients' businesses. If I've got a girls' outing and we say, let's go do a group pedicure, I'm going to grab my Hometown Values and we're going to go and use that one. And they do appreciate that. We have a coffee shop that has actually got some meeting space. Well, I've got her multiple group businesses that are meeting in her back room, or just meeting because it's a lovely setting, lots of little living room sets for meetings, and groups are coming in now. So helping them grow their business. So it's not just all about, give me your money so you can advertise with me. It's all about how can I help you grow your business. And by doing those things, you're showing how sincere you really are. I can't tell you how many times, they'll have a business person, a lot of them will sit down and talk with me about it. Business person come in, give them the old hard sales pitch, which of course is a big turnoff, but sometimes they'll go with it, but they'll never see him again. They'll never frequent their business, they never hear anything about it, they got their business and they ran off. Well, my Valpak gal was actually she was great. And that's another thing is built.
Valpak isn't community oriented at all.
But it depends on your sales rep, because my sales rep in my area was, and Susan was as well. She's totally, so it all depends. But that's another thing that you pointed out, thank you for bringing up. Be on good terms with your local salespeople. You never want to walk into a business and say anything negative, even if they kind of coax you or try to goat you or whatever you want to call it, because sometimes it is a setup. They are best friends with that Valpak rep, but they want to see what you have to say negative about them. Don't ever go down that road. It's so unprofessional.
Amen.
And we are all in this together, and we just offer something different than what the newspaper has to offer, than what Valpak has to offer. You know, we just point out the differences and the advantages to ours, or how we can complement the other one. That's the words you want to use. You do not want to say anything negative about your competition. I don't even know if I want to call it competition. It's just a different type of advertising venue. So the last piece I have is to be involved in your community. So you want to partner with community programs. I know that Hometown Values is Renae James, but I am Hometown Values. I have helped out with, you know, helped coordinate some couple of fundraisers with domestic violence services and Eagle Wings, help set up a prom dress exchange. You know, yes, it's Renae James, but it's also Hometown Values. If the paper ever does something, is usually they're labeling the names and the business owners that are associated with, the businesses rather, that are associated with this promotion. And I don't do it just to tout Hometown Values. I do it because I'm passionate about my community, and I love to see people helped, and I love to see needs met, not just obviously with my businesses, but within my community. And I volunteer at community events, so if they need somebody hanging out for that food drive there for 2 hours, then you do it. If they need an hour of ringing a bell of Salvation Army, I like that. And again, it's just your faces continue to be out there. And let's see, and inadvertently, through all these things that you're doing, people are going to, you know, ask, you know, what do you do what's your job, or what are your business, or, you know, those things come up, and that's great. Then you can share, you know, I'm with Hometown Values, and I love it when I get the feedback about the magazine, because most people in the community have seen it and have heard of it, and they love it. One of the other things you can do is you can join a service club. Rotary, there's Kiwanis, there's Seroptimist. You know, I belong with Seroptimist, and that's a women's-based service club, and we do a lot of things in the community. We've got some women who are business owners, we've got some people who are retired, and that's all good. Again, just being part of your community. Rotary is definitely more business-oriented people, kind of some big players in the community, and it's a chunk of change to join, but if your heart's really in and they do some amazing things, you know, you just gotta choose what's best for you, and your time commitment, and your budget. And then last of all is just to attend events. If you get invitations to things, your clients are going to have events, and you're going to get on their list. You know, I don't say go to all of them, but if you can show up to some of them, I'm sure they'd really appreciate that. So just another way to be active and show your clients that you sincerely do care about them and their business. You know, these are just many ways that you can do that, and I'm sure, and I'm going to open it up because I think I have a few minutes, I'd like to hear some other suggestions, because I know I am not alone in this, how passionate I am. Miss Susan Trenary.
Everything that you said is correct, and I know it's worked in Skagit, because I'll give away 3 giveaways at each chamber, and there's 5 chambers, but I'm active in 3 of them. I was the ambassador chair. I won the Rising Star. Just from all of those activities that Renae talked about, I can tell you that this person got on my cover and bought Watkins cover, just based on the service of all the things that, you know, sharing all the different things that she should join and do the ribbon cutting, and, you know, just be out there with, here's all the advertising opportunities, here's what works in newspapers, here's a suggestion for this. You know, I believe in a good media mix, that's all helpful. Here's some really good support groups, here's some donation opportunities. You know, if you can't make the chamber, I'll be happy to swing by and give out a gift card for you.
And promote your business.
And promote your business. And, you know, she's solid into Hometown Values, you know, and those are the clients. And then she's talking to other businesses, you know, she's talking to a salon, and just, those are great opportunities to keep your name out there. And I can remember signing up for an event that I hadn't been to, and the woman's like, oh, I see your name everywhere, this is what you look like. And so it does get people talking about you and highlights your business.
And you know what's interesting is they're always impressed when I go in to do a sales call, and they're like, okay, I'm very interested in Hometown Values, and I don't ever do this until after we've kind of solidified where they're going with Hometown Values. But she'll go, you know, okay, so I'm new, I love this, I want to do this. What other advertising avenues are there? And I'll whip out my phone and I'll say, here's Sue at the North County Outlook. here's, Kirk or whatever, these are the local newspapers that you have options, so you can certainly give them a call. I don't have the Valpak Reps one, but anyways, I have those folks, and they're kind of impressed, and then we can also, they'll say, would you share your artwork? Well, we already talked about with Pete, how much we can share, but we can give each other pieces and parts to our ads, and they really appreciate that. So, anything else?
Question on the chamber, now that you're more established now, but do you recommend when you join the chamber, you use that and say you call a local dentist, instead of just going in, this is David with Hometown Value, say, I'm a fellow chamber member, I wanted to come by and introduce myself, and kind of not really pitch too much on the map, but just kind of use that as a way to get your...
The best way to do that is to be either emissary or ambassador, because that literally is your ticket in the door.
Okay.
I am with the chamber, because yes, I'm a member of the chamber. I walk into a business and say, when it says no solicit, I'm a fellow member, I'm a fellow business owner, and want to introduce myself. You could say I'm a fellow chamber member, but when you are in the ambassador or the emissary committee, you literally get to walk in and you're guaranteed some time to spend with them.
Mhm.
And then you talk about their business, you talk about the chamber, and you talk about your business. It's kind of a
You're
much
bringing them a directory
brighter
and
Right.
you're bringing them
Oh, it's
their
like a
welcome
welcome,
gift.
I see, but
Yep.
even like, if you're not doing that,
Mhm.
just, and someone's been a member for 3 years in the chamber.
No, you could certainly say, I want to
Yeah.
introduce myself. I'm a new chamber member. I
Right.
heard you are too. I'm also a new business owner.
Common ground.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
just-
yeah, anything you
And
can
are you
use.
you guys both in B&I groups as well?
No, I used to be in LaTip. We are
Oh.
now in Marysville Business Connections.
Oh, okay, like in that way.
Yeah, it's a networking group, and that's
Okay.
working well for us,
And
so.
we started our own Cascade
There's a
Business
couple good
Referral
ones.
Group, it's been the best.
Okay.
Yep, so you used to be B&I or LaTip?
LaTip,
Yeah,
and we got rid of all the negative and the,
yeah, so,
ours is $25 a quarter and it's. you
Once a
can
week
choose-
or?
If you miss a
No,
meeting, do you
we're-
get fired forever?
No, it's based on a point system, it's super easy and it's, not at all. We've got bylaws and it's very professional. Be careful about just meetup groups because there are some liabilities and it has happened in our community where there's been some lawsuits. So if you're, just be real careful about meetup groups because there is a liability.
What were the lawsuits over?
What's the liability?
It's really stuff that I really don't want to get into. It's just something that happened in our community and they didn't have the protections.
one of the
set aside
things
in
that
the-
I know of is if you refer a painter and you refer the painter, and they are not happy with the job they did, painter doesn't have the stuff he's supposed to have, they can come back at you because you were in this network group that referred. So it's just, there's just little things, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. So Mark gave me this wonderful quote. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So, and it's true. And you get that feel-good feeling too from helping others. I love that. So, yep, there you have it. Thank you.